I decided to come out here to Traralgon Pines mountain bike park. It's about 26 trails that are just based outside of Traralgon. I was actually headed off to a haunted hill, but I don't think it opens for another couple of months, not until actually middle of next year. So I'll wait for that. But this has been interesting so far. The trails are really quite good. The dirt's spectacular. It's really typical sort of pine plantation soil, so everything here is really hard and smooth. There's lots of ruts and stuff, but it's all sort of well marked out. No signage for the trail names, but doesn't really need it. It's quite simple to see the directions, and Trail Forks has it all quite well mapped. So just going to give it a couple more try. I think I just rode up one called Kangaroo something, but should have ridden it the other way by the looks of it. I'll go back and give it a crack on the way home. Cheers. Yeah, country folk are pretty awesome, I reckon. This is pine forest outside of Traralgon. It's actually quite a young forest, so I think these trails will be here for quite a long time, even though they look pretty established already, which is really good. It means they're not going to be harvested anytime soon. The trees are quite young. They're only sort of 6 to 7 metres tall, and there's a really nice lot of light comes through the trail, so you're not in this really hidden undergrowth. The trails are really well made. The locals have really done a great job on this place. The berms are nice and smooth. There's always a beeline, and the beelines aren't necessarily easy. They're just the same as the A-line, but it just gives you the security when you're going down that you always have an option. So I've really enjoyed it so far. I've just run up one called Atlas, another one I'm just about to go into one of 9, and all 3 of them, Kangaroo Alley, have been terrific. I've really been happy to ride out here. I don't usually ride places by myself. Usually like to have someone with me in case I fall off, but as long as it's like this, there's not any worries about any sort of dramatic injuries if you're taking your time and keeping your eyes out. And most people know I just ride for fun, so stopping and looking where I am, trying to get my head around where the map goes, which way is left and right. It's all been good so far. To head down roller coaster, hope it's as good as it sounds. Most of the trails have really simple markings on them, and usually they're about 20 metres down the trail, which is really handy. I get so tired of trying to make up which way the arrow is pointing at the top of the trails, but they've all been great. I've been really happy with the Powerfly today. When I ride alone, I always ride. It's a real game changer for me. It allows me to push up climbs that I normally wouldn't be able to make it up easily. Makes me explore much more of the park than I normally would. And as you see by the looks of the trails around me, it's just in pristine condition. The soil is really dark and black, typical pine forest soil. It's either covered in pine needles and really soft, or really tacky, so it makes cornering really easy. Lots of little bumps and knobs on the side of the trails to run your wheels over, and just sort of practice as you're riding. So I'm really enjoying this park. Yeah, most of the trails here seem to be titled. Really quite innocent sort of names too, which is good. I hate one's called Death Valley and Bone Crusher, but this one's been quite good. And the beauty of this bike at the moment is out here by myself. I've ridden down this trail once before and I rode it the wrong way, didn't know. I looked at the map, and it's a 2-way trail, but rides much better the other way. But on the e-bike, I've ridden it twice already. Don't care. On my pedal bike, I tend to sort of renege and say, oh, I'll go ride somewhere else. But this has been really good, riding them both ways, up and down the hills. It's smooth and flowy. It's not as long as Buxton in some of the turns. The berms are a fair bit tighter, the trees are a bit closer. But having said that, really quite peaceful, except for the aeroplanes above us. Traralgon Airfield's not far away. But National Park, I think it is, or State Forest, whatever it is, National Pine Plantation, really being well used and maintained by this, I think, Gippsland mountain bike group. But whoever's doing it, you're doing a great job, guys, so thanks very much. Yeah, what they've done a great job here, this park, is actually on their up trails. They haven't made it all about the downhill. I've just ridden down the downhill trail, and it is spectacular. Like, it's sort of great vision, 80 or 90 metres at times, 40 or 50 most of the time. You can see the lines. It's a blue trail, but it's as fast as downhill as I've gone in these sort of conditions. Really nice, smooth, hard berms, not pitched up really hard. They really just help you get around the corners really sharply. But the best thing about this is this trail down here, a thing called Yo-Yo. It's the up trail to the downhill track, which you sort of think, if I look up here, that's often what you have to ride back up these, just dead straight fire trails and then go on the downhill. The fun here is this up trail has 2 of the biggest descents in it that I've ridden at this park. 2 just sort of little valleys that you go through that you drop down into and get enough momentum to either take the jumps that are there or just continue on the fast line and get back up the other side of the hill. So it actually helps you move around a bit. Changes your perspective on up trails a fair bit. I don't mind it. I actually like it so much I'm going to go ride it again. So catch ya. Did I mention how much I like yo-yos? This is the descent I was talking about. Doesn't look obviously steep from here, but it's looking pretty awesome from my view anyway. But I did have to mention that I've just ridden up this trail again and I love it. It's really quite a good climb, but don't forget I'm on an e-bike, so I'm pretty sure there were pinches there that would have knocked me off my bike. It's a spectacular left-hand berm at the bottom of the hill. Come into it nice and fast, and if you use momentum, you're right off the back of the next one. Didn't have enough speed that time, and even on the e-bike it was a bit of a challenge, so keep a look out for that one. Yeah, it just keeps getting better and better out here. Blue sky day. I'm out here by myself, I know I am, so I'm not stupid, I take it pretty easy. Got all my spares and water and food and my phone, so all safe guys, don't you worry Susie. But this park is just extraordinary. Really quite happy with it. You know, some of the trails are just as good as anything you'd ride anywhere. Not too much, you know, banging up climbs where you just your head down looking at your front wheel. It's all beautiful scenery once you pop out of these fire roads, which all tend to look the same. It's really quite easy to navigate with trail forks. I haven't had any trouble at all. I haven't been lost yet, which is, most people would know would be quite unusual. So just riding to the top of the hill now, try a couple more of the downhills. Going to try a thing called Lockie's Track and another one called Top Gun. So hopefully they'll be good. I'll let you know at the bottom. Well, that's the first for me. I found Top Gun without using a map, and people know my sense of direction. That's pretty impressive. So the trails aren't signposted at the fire trails. You have to sort of see the single trail in, and sort of 20 or 30 metres down they have these nifty little white signs up. That's really cool. I'll see you at the bottom. Yeah, Top Gun's definitely a downhill trail. No surprises, all the jumps are well marked. They're actually, a lot of them are covered with shade cloth material over the timber so that they don't break down and get slippery and all that sort of stuff. So really good idea. Again, compliments to the local trail builders. Really a lot of foresight for a range of people. The jumps vary in size, so next time down you can take the small ones. B-lines are always quite simple. Had a really good time down it. It joins into the bottom of the downhill. I'm going to go up and try Lockie's Track now, which I sort of think is sort of part and parcel of the same sort of downhill network from the climbs. The climb here is pretty steep on the fire trail. I haven't found the up trail to this point yet, not the short one anyway, so the bike handles it really well. Yeah, my mates are pretty good about me riding a mountain bike. Actually, no, take that back. My mates are pretty good. The difference between them is that they understand why I ride a bike. They don't look at me and go, you know, you're cheating up those hills. I'm out with them, I'm doing all the stuff that I would normally do. I ride my pedal bike a lot when I'm with them. Days like today, it's a 23 kilogram bike and it's under power, I know, but downhill, there's no support. I outrun the bike in the first couple of metres, so you're pushing and wielding quite a heavy bike for a long time down the trails. Keeps you really firm on the ground. Said it's with me and the bike together, it's over 100 kilograms, and it really has some momentum. But working that bike up and down, it's real quite an upper body workout. You know, keeping your line, making sure the bike bites, all that sort of stuff. It's hard work. It doesn't hurt as much on the climbs, I'm afraid. So that's the best part. So as I've always said, twice as far, twice as often, not twice as fast. It's not important. Did I talk about inappropriate trail names? It's actually a two-way trail, so it can't be too bad. But yeah, graveyard, not a great way to end. I'll speak to you at the bottom. Oh, that's me about done. Just under 20 Ks, I think, of trails here. But the best part of it was 20 Ks of new trails, nothing I'd seen before. So I'm really quite impressed. Rate this park really highly in relation to, especially for organically grown by local members building a park. Just, you know, I'm really not sure what else they could do. They've really done a great job. Great berms, good climbs, well marked trails. You know, they're rated pretty well. They are all blue or just green. Really quite simple to find your way around. Lots of options every time you go down. Just the amount of wonky bridges you want, just to keep you honest on the way around. Really, if you're not into raised boardwalks, you might want to practice up on those before you come down here. But no, overall, really quite happy with the outing today. You know, it's about an hour and 40 minutes to the drive, which is, you know, quite a way, but it's a long way when you're by yourself. But the reality is that spend the last 2 hours just driving around the trails that were new and were so well done that I'm really quite happy. Thanks to Jay for this awesome electronic bike, e-bike, sorry. It's really made the difference for me. It gives me the confidence to explore parts that I wouldn't usually go to. I know that at no point of time am I going to be too tired to ride home or ride up, and I've just ridden for over 2 hours and I've used just over 1 bar of this thing. So a lot of the time I ride with it off, and most of the downhill I turn it off. It's really quick to actually determine when you want it on and off, and it's really quick to change between modes as well. So climbs anything, descends like a beast, descends much better than I do. Actually my stash that I like pedalling probably rides downhill better than this bike. Not as much bike to stop, bigger rotors. I love the 3-inch tyres on the other bike, and the level of grip on those rages are spectacular. So anyway, thanks very much guys. Hope you didn't mind listening to me raving on, but I do enjoy this sort of stuff, and hope to meet you out on the trail soon.